What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the Fantastic Four issue number 14. And I'm gonna let you guys know right from the beginning, this was supposed to be the return of the Fantastic Four children, but that is not what happens. They hyped it up like issue 14 was going to be the big return, that the children were finally coming back, but it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. After everything that the Fantastic Four have been through, they have been waiting for the return of their children, waiting for the return of the Baxter Building. But upon returning to New York, not only do they learn that there is a new building that is being built up, but something with the return of their children has gone horribly wrong. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so we are picking up with the Fantastic Four back in New York City. They are at the site of the Baxter Building, the former home of the Fantastic Four. As it stands, they are 12 hours away from the Baxter Building returning and their children finally being back home. But as they arrive at the site, what they find is that there is a construction company out here building something. By all appearances, this looks like a giant satellite dish. As the Fantastic Four begin to investigate a little bit closer, what we learn is that there is an app by the name of Metamind. Imagine this like TaskRabbit. It sends people out to do a job, whether that bring wood here, bring wire, or install something. What it's doing is divvying up the jobs. That way nobody knows what is actually being built or who is responsible for building it. As they begin to investigate a little bit closer, this is where they see the female version of Electro. Apparently she's here just delivering stuff. But after recognizing that the Fantastic Four have returned, it appears that she is here with Scorpia, Beetle, Lady Octopus, and Trapster. And though it appears that they're just doing really small tasks, for some reason, they gear up and they attack the Fantastic Four. Now, for the Fantastic Four, these 5 ladies, they are in no way, shape, or form even a challenge. We see the Fantastic Four wrap all 5 of them up real quickly, but the fight did do one thing for them. It scared everybody away from the construction site. This gives them a moment to really look into Metamind. Now, this is an app that is offering in-game rewards for taking action in the real world. This was created by Dan Passey's company. This is an application that incentivizes its users to do things, diffusing responsibility across thousands of people, all of whom explicitly release Posse from any legal liability. And so everybody is taking in the risk, while Posse is the one that is really raking in all the dough. But now the question remains, what is he trying to build? Reed Richards theorizes that maybe it's a transmitter, but it's not a design that he has ever seen before. Regardless, they gotta clear this area out. The Baxter Building will be returning, and when it does, this could cause some devastation. And so they go have a conversation with Dan Passey. And when they arrive, he says that he was expecting them. He knows that they're gonna have questions about Metamind. He wants to sell the Fantastic Four on his vision. This is where the comic dives into what we call psychohistory. Now, for those unfamiliar with psychohistory, this is an idea that was conceived by the science fiction writer of the 20th century, known as Isaac Asimov. Arguably the best science fiction writer of the 20th century. He theorized with psychohistory that we can predict the future, not of the individual, but of the group. That if you are able to gather up enough data of human history, you may not be able to tell the future of one person, but of a nation. You could be able to dictate what direction that is all going to go in, whether it be famine, whether it be a governmental collapse. And if you want to know more about psychohistory, I would definitely go ahead and check out Isaac Asimov's stuff. If you cannot do that, there is an Apple TV show called Foundation. And Foundation is taking psychohistory and bringing it to life on the small screen, showing us the real-world applications of how psychohistory might actually work. And so what Dan Passey is doing is making hugely educated guesses on what the future will hold. But he's even going further than that. This is time travel without a time machine. and he is making it profitable. With this Metamind app, he is able to make small changes, create the future that he would want. For example, a small incursion can produce large effects. A quick maintenance check in order for a jet to get off the airfield. This causes a senator to be delayed for a crucial vote. A specialized mechanic gets an extra day of vacation. The company, because of this, might have to scale back production. You see, what he is doing is not psychohistory. He is manipulating the future. He is doing so in the present. He is making these small butterfly effect-like changes to get the outcomes that he wants. There will be the most profitable outcomes. But what many people do not realize is that using this app and getting these in-game gems, they are losing out on opportunities of a future they might not know that they could ever have. But Dan Passy is not breaking any laws. This is just not ethical. The way he sees it, if this were unethical, if it were wrong to do, the government would have made it illegal. He is playing by the rules of society. This is where Reid goes to explain that you are now essentially responsible for every disaster on Earth, because on some level, you choose not to prevent it. And he sees himself as really an enlightened leader, a humanitarian. But getting away from all of this, they go on to talk about the Baxter Building, about the transmitter that is currently being built, all because of this triple gem weekend. This is where Mr. Passy recognizes that something has gone wrong. Someone has hacked into Metamind, and they are bringing about a future that they want. As he goes through his computer systems, he sees that there's no rogue instructions, no intrusions, nothing. He has been hacked and he has no idea who even did this. And so now he has no other option but to turn to Reed Richards. Someone has made a backdoor into Metamind, and he needs the smartest man in the world to help him solve this. And so as they go down into the server room, Reed Richards agrees to help him out, if not for any other reason than to keep it out of worse hands than it's already in. With there being no evidence of any kind of intrusion, Reed Richards knows this means he cannot trust this machine, that the most logical answer for all of this is to scrap it all and start over. This is where Passy starts to get a little bit anxious, a little bit upset, because what Reed Richards is telling him is that his life's work, these billions and billions of dollars that have been invested into this, it is all being erased. Every bit of Metamind. And Reed Richards does apologize. He lied to him a little bit ago. Reed knew this was going to be the answer regardless. In a matter of moments, Reed Richards brings everything down. And then the Human Torch, he lights all the servers on fire, melting them down to nothing but rubble. Even if Metamind could be recreated, he would need another billion dollars to do so. Money that he simply doesn't have. Reed Richards tells him that what you created was dangerous. Your obvious terror when you learn that somebody else was in control is more than sufficient evidence to show how dangerous this can be. With the Fantastic Four headed back to the Baxter Building, Reed Richards says that he's going to build something like that machine, but that will only alert them if another app like Metamind is ever created. That way, if something like this is ever made again, they can stop it. He also wants to incorporate some kind of prediction of global pandemics or global disasters. But as they clean up the site and they prepare for the Baxter Building to return, the Fantastic Four, they do their countdown. And counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There is a giant buzzing, a blinding light, but there is no return of the Baxter Building or the Fantastic Four children. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so I both hate and love this comic. I'm very conflicted on it. First off, I absolutely love the fact that they used Isaac Asimov's psychohistory. I absolutely adore Isaac Asimov. I love psychohistory. I love the theory behind it. It is a ton of fun, and the fact that we bring in, I would say, the best science fiction writer of the 20th century into a Fantastic Four comic, I'm here for it. Now, my issues with this comic. First off is the 5 female villains, if you will. Let's ignore the fact that these characters are really just cheap knockoffs of the original. There was absolutely no reason for them to try and fight the Fantastic Four. As it stands, they were doing legal things, working on a job for a freaking app. The fight was absolutely and completely pointless, and the fight was also over in a single page. I really don't even understand the purpose of why they brought it in. And then my biggest issue, the Fantastic Four children have not returned. It has been 14 issues. For us, that is roughly 1 year and 2 months. In the world of comics, it has been 1 year. They promised us the Fantastic Four children would return, but it appears that that is just smoke and mirrors. It's disappointing because we have waited so long for the children to return. You let us know that it's gonna be in this comic, we get excited, and then bam, they don't return. The Baxter Building doesn't return. Reed Richards' science must have been off or something of that nature. Maybe someone deterred everything from happening. We don't really have an answer as to why it didn't come back. We just know that it didn't. For me, this is a big letdown because I have said it for 14 months now. I have been waiting for the return of Franklin Richards to figure out if he actually has his power still or not. Now, deep down, I probably already know the answer, and the answer is probably no. The truth is, he probably only got his powers back temporarily, and now they are gone yet again. But that small little piece of me is just hoping and wishing that when Franklin returns, he will return with his powers. And at this point, I just want an answer. I just want to know what is going on with him. Now, don't get me wrong. I have loved the Fantastic Four run. It has been fun. It has been wholesome. It has been enjoyable. But these lingering questions making the fans wait so long just to get one answer. It feels like torture. And obviously not literally. It just sucks that we haven't got an answer yet. But we're gonna give it another issue or two. We're gonna see where it goes. If they try to draw this out, we might end up just dropping the comic altogether. Because while they may be fun, family, wholesomeness, the stories haven't been good enough for me to want to continue on. Especially if we're gonna say that the Fantastic Four children are not gonna be returning for 3 to 4 more months. But we'll see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, make sure that you have liked this video, you have hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.